So, how's it going? It's me, Violet. Would anyone notice if we stopped streaming? I wonder that. I think some people would. I think some people would notice. Why is this so big? It's so big. I can't even see it. Oh, I'm not gonna bother. My birds are complaining because I haven't given them fresh food. So they figure if they yell at me enough, that will get me to do it. They have a lot of leftovers though that they didn't touch from yesterday, so I'd really like to see them get through those. I think that's pretty reasonable, and I'm not sure how to demonstrate that request to them in a way that causes them to feel, well, I will say, muy bien, thank you. Get some comida. Sí. Get some comida. What we really need to do, I think, is have that second food dish set up again, because the one dish, which we've described before, it's just a little too cramped. They end up fighting. And then, yeah. I didn't do my reading yet today, so I don't know. I guess I'll do that first. Had a really hard time sleeping last night. Thinking about a lot of things. Facing the weight of our own life. And the failures therein. There's so many things that could have gone better and will never, ever, ever get another chance to do over. You know what I mean? What do you do when you look at your life and you feel those things, right? Well, you just keep going. What else can you do, right? What else can you do? So, I don't know. I'm not on reality right now, but turtle moves. The turtle moves. I'd like to, honestly, when doing these readings, allow you to see me holding the book. Why not, right? That could be nice. You could see the words on the page. See my actual hands interacting with the actual page, turning those pages. That could be nice, I guess. I don't know, though, if anyone would enjoy that. It's really hard to know. Our brand of content, the nature of our content, is something we've constantly wondered about. What does it mean? There it is. Oops. No, up here. It's so big. It's so big. It doesn't fit there. You see. What does it mean to be saigaivai? What is the nature of saigaivai's content? What causes people to join saigaivai? What causes them to stay with saigaivai? What causes them to leave saigaivai? And how can saigaivai possibly know the answers to these questions in a meaningful way? It's a good question, I think. the most important thing is for us to just continue creating our art in the way that feels right to us, in a way that's genuine. And if anyone appreciates that, they do, and if they don't, they don't. For a long time, we've been doing a lot of what we do for others, thinking that the attention we receive in return was an indication of our success. I think that's kind of reasonable, right? If people seem to pay attention to what you're doing, maybe you're doing something right, but it turns out that's not always the case. People don't always notice you for the right reasons, but they don't always tell you that. So the most important thing, I think, is to just be true to our art and our vision and our story, and continue moving forward with creating that art, true to our vision, so we may tell our story. Because you may find that our story is more relatable and understandable than you might initially expect. I'm speaking now to nobody. Every Friday at 4:20 p.m. for weeks. This is the 26th time that we've done this, and there's nobody here, despite now having been streaming for, about 10 minutes. Not very long, no. But maybe it's just not the right time of day to be streaming. Or maybe just nobody likes us. Are those useful thoughts? The questions behind them are useful, I would say. But, the nature in which they're posed is maybe a little too self-deprecating to be considered, shall we say, productive? And you know, I think a big part of it is, even if the things that we say and do have value to some audience, how do we find that audience? You know, we think about these things all the time. I think that makes us more valuable, to be honest. Because I think a lot of people think about these things, but they just think about them in a fleeting way and don't do much of anything with those thoughts. They don't act upon them. Are we like that too? Do we act upon our thoughts in a meaningful way? Maybe. Well, where did I leave it last time? Well, even telling you, I will say, could put your soul at risk of 1,000 years in hell. But if you think it is a risk that you might carefully take, then I will tell you that the writer claims that the world travels through the void on the back of 4 huge elephants. On the back, it's true. Or I should say, it is claimed. And you might ask, what do they stand on, those 4 elephants? And I would tell you that the writer tells us that those 4 elephants stand on the shell of an enormous turtle. And if you were to wonder, what does that enormous turtle stand on? I would remind you that idle curiosity leads the mind into speculative ways. Sound familiar? Maybe. Maybe. Every day for a week doing those readings. Just through a tiny part of the book, but it feels nice. Should I finish it? Should I come back to it later? Giving people a chance to watch the recordings, maybe get some comments on those recordings? Or do I just push through regardless of the type of feedback I receive or don't receive and just continue? Right? What do you do? Is it worth continuing to share your art with the world when you have no audience for that art? I think that's a good question. 0 likes, 0 views, 0 concurrent viewers, 0 chat rate. Average view duration? None. It just begs the question, why am I here? And I want to think about that. Because I really do enjoy sharing our fun times with you all, like a lot. A lot. But it's really difficult to figure that out sometimes. You know? And that's okay. Such is the nature of life. We'll figure it out together, I guess, right? What does it mean to be saigaivai? We had somebody stumble in for just a moment, and they just as quickly left. I'm sorry to say that's very common for us in our experience. With perhaps the one notable exception of when we play Super Smash Bros. That used to always be the case. We would create a room and people would come in and maybe fight us once and then leave. And even if we had people join us for an extended period, once they got a sense of the way that we played, they didn't want to stay anymore. What does that say about us? Well, when you're taught at a very young age that the best way to gain people's trust is to abuse it, and then you're taught over and over again that that's useful and effective, and nobody takes the time to really teach you in any meaningful way, least of which the people who you trust and rely upon, that what you're doing is wrong, you develop some pretty nasty habits. And the way that we play is, and can be, I should say, can be pretty nasty. That being said, you all have been helping us a lot. You all have been helping us a lot to understand what it means to play in a gentle way. It's not to say that's something that we didn't understand. It's just something that we were taught through the actions of others, be it intentionally or otherwise, that gentle play was not worth our time, that treating others with respect was not worth our time. We didn't have to do that, because we got what we wanted anyway. Isn't that sad? Isn't that a sad way to live? But that's how we lived for a long time. And in some ways we still live that way without even realizing that we're doing it. But I'm happy to say, I tell you I'm happy to say, that's changing. So what does it mean to be saigaivai? What is the nature of saigaivai's content? What causes people to join saigaivai? Maybe we're starting to understand that. Because even if our sense of play may be a little twisted, we're pretty good at it. And even if our understanding of what love means might be a little backwards, it's still very genuine. So I'll remind you all that indeed the turtle moves. Albeit slowly, the turtle moves. And honestly, I think that's it for this week. I encourage you to check out our content here on YouTube. I encourage you to check out our content on Twitch. Every one of our live streams is meant to be watched as a recording. I want you to know that. Every one of our live screams, I say because my bird was just screamed. Every one of our live streams is meant to be watched as a recording and digested, and sometimes even ideally watched multiple times. Because there's one person we know is going to watch those recordings, and that's us. We review our own content because it's a way of sending a message to our future self. And so to our future self I say, never give up. Nunca te rindas. And why? Well, what else choice do you have, really? What else choice do you have? You gotta keep going. So, to anyone who might actually be here live, I thank you. I'm grateful for your presence. I hope you're enjoying the music. I hope you're enjoying my ramblings. My name is Violet, by the way. Is that my real name? Sure. What is a real name? Am I really a purple cat girl with green hair and blue eyes? Sure, why not? It's really all you need to know. But if you want to know more, I encourage you to keep coming back. And I'm happy to share more. And maybe I can learn about you. And maybe we can learn about each other. That would be really nice. And that's the sort of thing that I crave personally. Oops. It's not quite what I meant to do. But it's true. I crave connections with each and all of you. I wish to get to know you better, and I wish to give you the opportunity to get to know us better. And in doing that, maybe we'll form a little community here of like-minded individuals all seeking to make this world a better place together. I think that's a nice sentiment, right? I bet you when you started watching this video, you didn't think it was going to end on something like that. Just because we know how to walk the ways of despair doesn't mean that that's the path we want the world to take. At least not forever. Because Callie's vision of a world drowning in despair, well, it's a nice vision sometimes because when you hit the bottom, let me put it this way. As my bird sits on my head, and I'm pretty sure might have done something else up there on my head. What are you doing, Oni? You can't see that. Let me put it this way. You can learn a lot from losing. You can learn a great deal from losing. Look at Vegeta, okay? Look at Vegeta, Prince of the Saiyans. Yeah, because today we would have been doing Dragon Ball. We would have been. Vegeta fans in the chat? Vegeta's like the universe's biggest loser. He's always number 2 to Goku. And Goku makes his number 1 look so effortless. But Vegeta never lets that stop him. No matter how many times he's died, almost died, lost, almost lost, it doesn't matter. He looks back on it and he wonders, how could I have done better? And how will I do better next time? And all of a sudden, he's bearing the power of a god. And all of a sudden, the whole universe believes in him. It's a nice thought, isn't it? Anyway. That's all for today, that's all for this week. Had a really hard time sleeping last night. That's Oni sitting on my head. Like I said, you can't see him, but he's there, trust me. Thinking a lot last night about Oni's little Marceline, Tedo. Some of you might remember her from when we first started streaming. She lives now in our hearts. Always. Just like you, actually, out there, listening to me right now. A piece of you now resides in my heart, and perhaps a piece of me resides in yours. And for that I say thank you. My birds do insist upon contributing to this stream as much as they possibly can. Hey, this song is great. May chows take the world. Yes, fans of chows. Glad you're here, whoever you are there, lurking in the chat. And whoever may be here watching the recording, leave a damn comment, won't you? Leave a comment! I need your feedback! What the hell kind of comment is, "You sure are neurodivergent"? What does that mean? I have no idea. The sky sure is the sky. There sure is a bird on my head. May chows sure take the world. And so on. Let's just say obvious things to each other all day and see how that makes us feel, okay? So here's something obvious. I, Violet, and I would argue all of saigaivai, and thereby I should say we, saigaivai, in relation to you, darling, we love you very much. So there's something obvious for you. Okay? Chew on that for a while. And thank you for those little hearts there in the chat. It warms the cockles of mine. Daisuki.